things we are doing in 2026. And I'm trying to make a sort of series out of this. So I'm going to give you 3 today. But there are things that if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond that we should be doing. And if we haven't been doing, now is the time to start. Hello ladies and welcome to Rock Your Decade. My name is Loretta and on this channel I hope to be a source of inspiration and encouragement to ladies from their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond on leveling up and navigating life as it is right now, because we are the generation that is bridging. We've got the boomers ahead of us, but even though we are the full generation living life without technology and then going into technology, whereas you find that the Gen Xers, they've always had technology around them. We need this space to navigate life things, and we just want to be in this place to ask questions and try and get answers from them. So today's subject, things that we should be starting in 2026, things that I'm doing, maybe you're doing, but I haven't been so good at doing. And so I've decided that this is what I'm putting into 2026. If you remember, I don't know, I'll link it down here anyway, but if you remember, I did a part 1 and that is what I'm going to be talking about today, as in the part 2. So there's another 3 things. And I think these are really, really important. They're important to me anyway, and I think they should be important to other people as we grow older, because they can hold on to us. And so I'm going to start with the number 1. We are writing regrets either by correcting the mistake, apologizing, or letting it go. Now, there's been a lot of talk about how people, when they're on their deathbed, are talking about regret. There's even a book that's just come out, I think last year, about to slip into the other world, and how they would talk about their regrets. And I've been thinking that carers who were near beside people, who were, about to slip into the other world, I want to leave with no regret, and I don't want to carry them forward up until that time. So it's not that they've carried their regrets, they've regretted something on their deathbed, but that they've also carried many decades, and that has caused illnesses, anger, has upsets, that has caused so many other things that have probably led to their demise, actually. And so I decided that when I heard something like that the 3rd time, I decided that no, I don't want to take that to the grave. I don't want to be on my deathbed and say, I regret not doing this and I regret not doing that. What I'm going to do now, as from 2026, I'm going to either correct the mistake that I made. So, for example, I wish I had, for example, a good one here. I failed at my maths when I was doing my GCSEs. In fact, I didn't even do the paper because I knew I'd fail. And it was so funny because my dad never actually believed that I didn't even go in and do the paper and fail it. I didn't even do that. I didn't even go in. And so I didn't have maths, but I knew I would fail, but it wasn't really because I was thick or I couldn't do maths. It was because of the tutoring I received. And so because of that, I didn't have confidence in myself. And I thought, rather than get an F9, I'm just not going to turn up. And so I didn't. However, when I was 50, for a birthday present to myself, I decided to get a tutor and do my O-levels in mathematics. And guess what? I passed. Now, before that time, I was actually a tutor for year 6 maths, English and science at the time. And I also used to tutor children going into private school on maths as well. This is someone who had believed that they would fail and probably would have failed their GCSEs. But I knew that I knew that I had the capability to do fractions and multiplication and a bit of algebra and a bit of this and a bit of that. And so I started to teach myself. And then after a while, I found myself doing the GCSE and passing. And so I don't have any regrets about that. I did wish that I had done it because there was some I did wish I had done it because there were some professions that unless I had mathematics, I couldn't do. For example, teaching. Now it's quite different. there are ways into teaching. But back in the day, I had to have mathematics and I didn't have it. And so, and I think it didn't occur to me to actually go and do it. I just felt, oh, I won't be able to do it. Well, I can do this and I can do that instead. So I didn't have any regrets about redoing that. So that is one thing that you can change. So another regret that one might have is not apologizing at the right time. And maybe it's time to reach out and apologize. If it's something that you said, something that you did, you probably will have to seek counsel on this, or wisdom on this, because it's not always advisable to wake up a sleeping dog. But there are some things that you can apologize to. You can apologize to your children. You can apologize to your family for things that you might have done, either intentionally or unintentionally, and let that be done. And the third bit is letting it go. There are things that you can't control anymore, but you can't redo, you can't rehash, you can't apologize for. Maybe the person has gone on to glory. Maybe anything could have happened. And all you can do is let it go. And I would say if you've got to that place, because you'll know whether you can apologize, whether you can write it, whether you can make things better. You will know whether you can do that. And if you know that you can't, or you haven't seen that person, let's say you want to say sorry to someone and you haven't had the opportunity, you don't know anybody who knows that person, you don't know if that person's in the country that you reside in, you just have to let it go and just say, if it comes, if you're able to deal with it, you will. But at the moment, you have chosen, for your own sanity as well, to just let it go. The second thing we are doing is building or rebuilding positive relationships. Relationships that you have, they didn't go sour, but maybe people moved on. So a friend maybe they got married before you, had children, and moved on to, I don't know, north of England, and you haven't seen them again. You've seen them maybe on Facebook, you've heard about them from a friend, but you haven't there's no animosity, you just haven't had that point. And maybe it's because you don't have anything in common. Sometimes as we grow older and we don't have things in common, we kind of move apart. So this year I would love to build and rebuild positive relationships, and I would urge you to do the same, because these are good things. But I'm talking about positive relationships, and if you do need to build one that there's a bit of this in between, then you will have to insert boundaries in between that relationship. And number 3, I've mentioned it before, we're going back to single tasking. This actually relieves our minds from stress. We're not doing this, that, and the other at the same time. We're not continually walking into a room, walking out, walking and wondering what's the name, even what is today's date. We're not doing that. What we are doing is singular tasking. And so we're doing that and then finishing one before going on to the next one. And so that we can be fulfilled in what we're doing. We can also do it well, and we can do it without the stress that we would have incurred had we done about another 5 things next to it. So those are just 3 of the things that we are doing this year, 2026, putting in place to have a much healthier lifestyle and to have more well-being. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.